All right, Rippers, imagine this. You're up on a ladder, you take a fall, or you're under your car and it falls on your arm or your leg, or you take a fall out in the woods. What do you do, or what can you have on hand at home or in your car or in your gear that would help you out? Well, if you're out and about in the woods, you can make yourself a splint with a triangle bandage, of course, and or some strips of cloth and some sticks and whatnot like that to make do. But if you're closer, say it's one of those situations, SHTF minimum, say, you know, we've got an emergency situation going on, whether it be weather related or whatever, but you want to stick around home, or you're not able to have some medical assistance right away, and you want to stabilize somebody, right? Well, one thing you can do, especially this works really well for like a broken leg or something like that, or even an arm, is a splint like this. And what it is it's basically, as you can see right there, I'll show you the picture, all right? It's a splint that you fold this out, and it's got a metal insert in the center that's flexible, right? And it can flex many times, and you can fold it in half, and what you do is you put it over an arm, like a hand like this, and then you take and wrap a bandage around it, right? They're not that expensive. You can order them on the internet. That's what I did. It's the Rhino Rescue Splint 36-inch. Now, they have different sizes and different types. I got one that kind of is a fit-all. Like a common injury would be like a sprained ankle that's really bad, or a broken ankle, things like that. You can fold this up like this around both sides of your foot, right? And then wrap a bandage around it. And you should have like an ace bandage or some vet wrap or something like that with you. You can even use cloth if you want, if you just have like a handkerchief or something like that, tear it into strips, something to secure this and wrap it around there. What's nice about this is it can form around your appendage more. And it really, I thought it was a neat thing to have. Now, this isn't something I would have in my big kit or gear. This is something that I would have, say, in my car, or maybe if I was going on a hike in where I'm going to be gone for a few days, I might throw it in there. Knowing that falls and things like that can happen when you're out in the woods, right? Something I might have for that. So it's a good idea. Look into something like this. They're not too bad, you know, they're, you know, right around 20 bucks or so, depending. You can look around. I always recommend bargain shopping on the internet, but it's a good thing to have. Now, another thing is I found this. Now, this was at the Army surplus store locally that we have, but I would look it up on the internet as well. This was $4.95, and what this is it's old school bandage that has plaster of Paris embedded in it. So you take and you get it wet in a strip, right? And then you can wrap it around. Now, once you've taken gauze, just like if you've ever gotten a cast, they always put the gauze around nice and loose around your arm and whatnot, and you know, before these new casts that are fiberglass, right? That they still get wet and then form around there. Now, those are neat, and if you can get some of that, get it. But this is the old school kind that you can keep stored in your gear at home, and you could take, and once, you know, if you've got things set up pretty well and it looks all straight and you don't have a doctor to assist you anytime soon, you can take and put gauze around your arm nice and loose, then get this kind of wet, squeeze it out a little bit, and then wrap it around. And when it dries, it'll dry into a hard, you know, more temporary, but a hard plaster cast to keep things immobilized, right? Just remember to get a good padding's worth of you know, your gauze wrap or whatnot around that, in order to give you some room. You don't want to make it too tight so that you get circulation issues, right? And then you can work this in and around the hand, around like this. You can do the same thing on the foot. I thought it would be a great idea just to have one of these or a couple of these in your kit. It at least gives you the ability to deal with a situation like that until you can get to a doctor, right? If things, you know, get normal again, right? That being said, It's one of those things that you can have in your home kit that I think is a really great idea. Another good thing would be a good pair of nitrile gloves. I like these 9mm black leather gloves. These are latex free, nitrile I think they are, powder free. These just come in a bag like this. I buy them by the big box at Harbor Freight usually, and they're the 9mm ones. They're the real heavy ones, right? They're usually black. The reason is these last, I use these for when I'm cleaning my guns, when I'm working on my rig, because these are the ones that don't just rip real easy, right? So these are the kind of ones you want if, somebody's bleeding and whatnot, because the last thing you want is a flimsy glove ripping on you, right? And getting somebody else's blood all over you, although that can happen. That's why you should always have eye protection and things like that. But a good pair of nitrile gloves is always something that you should have in your kit that you have with you, or your IFAC, at least one pair of these good heavy duty gloves, right? Another thing I was looking at, let's see here, is, we've all seen these emergency ponchos, and these are good to have in your emergency kit, lightweight. These are better for giving out to other people that say don't have anything, right? You can also use a trash bag. But some of the other things I saw out there besides these poncho kits, I like these. If you want something that's more permanent, that'll last a while and really works well, is these Frog Tog kits, right? You can let these dry out and use these multiple times. Now, as you can see, they're quite a bit more bulky. This works really well for a short-term rain type situation, just to have as an emergency. This is something that you can keep on you more so, and it's really lightweight, unlike let's say like a rubber poncho or something like that, or heavy rain gear. However, if you had a super heavy rain area, you might want a little better rain gear, but these work pretty darn good, and it's a nice Frog Togs, everybody's heard of them, poncho. This is one that will keep you dry, keep aerated to it. It breathes real well, I've noticed, and I've used it quite a few times. I really like having this. Now, this is not something I'd have in my carry gear. I'd probably have something more like this, or for emergencies, something maybe more like that. They make these emergency poncho that are emergency blankets. The only problem with these is if you're in a situation where you don't want to be seen real well, then the silver, not so good. Now, they probably make these in the green as well. I haven't seen them yet, but they definitely do make different versions of these. Different companies make better quality ones. This is just your regular, what you see at any sporting goods store one. As you can see, they're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they do work really well. But these are great for an emergency situation too, where you're trying to stay warm as well, and you're more worried and you want to be seen to be rescued, right? So this is something that you might have in your woodsy multi-day kit that you can have in there, or your car kit and whatnot, to have the option to be able to stay dry if you're having to go out and gather firewood, things like that. I just thought it was a neat option to see that this company is making an affordable one, because there's other companies out there like SOL. Does that mean shit out of luck? But they make some really good versions too, which I'll show in some future videos. But this was a nice affordable version compared to theirs that I thought I'd show you guys. So those are some things that I think are good additions to your kit. Things you've probably already all thought about, because there's really nothing new on the internet. But maybe you haven't, maybe you need a reminder, maybe you haven't seen some of those, because they're coming out with new things all the time. So until next time, I hope this helps you guys. I hope you guys find yourself well and are out there staying alert, being aware of your surroundings, right? Always carrying, right? And being ready for it, and being ready and aware for anything that may come your way. Until next time, adios and aloha.